What's up, everybody? I'm Mark Bell, and I'm taking over for Jen Widerstrom for today. Jen and I have been friends for quite some time, and we're doing some stuff collaboratively. I'm a former powerlifter, squatted 1,080, benched 854, and deadlifted 766 pounds. I also used to weigh 330 pounds. Since that time, I have slimmed down a lot. I've lost 100 pounds, and I'd like to teach you guys on how I've done some of that and how I've accomplished some of it. Jen had a question for me, though, that was really interesting. She wanted to know how I impacted my family. And the reason why I find that to be such an interesting question is that someone who's a high-level performer like Jen Widerstrom, somebody who is a major name in the fitness community, somebody who's literally helped thousands upon thousands of people lose weight, gain strength, get more muscular, get the body that they want. It's interesting because I wonder what her impact is on her family, because sometimes the people that are within arm's reach are the hardest people to really impact and affect. But for me personally, it's really been a wonderful experience. What I've learned is that it's very difficult to impact the people that are closest to us because, first of all, sometimes they don't believe you, you know? Sometimes it's just like your aunt or your uncle, and they knew you as some little shit kid from back in the day, and so they might not, they want to take advice from the real experts, the people that are on TV. They want to take advice from Oprah and Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, who's Jen has been on his show many times before, or whomever they view as a leading expert. That's kind of who they look to often. And a lot of times when we have information, they're not really that excited about us, right? But despite all that, I've had a great impact on my family. I've helped nearly every single person in my family. It means so much to me to have an impact on the people that are closest to me. And that is something that I try to do. I love to share my philosophy. I love to share information that I learn, information that I gain. I have, nearly 500,000 followers on Instagram. I have another YouTube channel that has nearly 500,000 followers. Been lucky enough to be on Tim Ferriss's show and Joe Rogan's show, and I've been seen and heard, and a lot of people have heard my message over the years. But what's it all for? What's it all worth unless I can impact my family? There's a great quote from Mother Teresa that I really like. If you want to help change the world, go home and love your family. And I really love that quote a lot, and it makes a lot of sense because yes, it does. It's great to try to help others. It's great to try to help other people. But at the same time, if you're doing so and it's at the detriment of what's going on inside your own home, then you could be making a big mistake. Now, back to this matter, I want to teach you how I've been able to help them. What I've learned over the years is very simple. What can you apply? What can be applicable to your life that I mentioned to you? So I used to be a big fan of like low carbs. I used to be a big fan of a keto diet. I used to be a big fan of a carnivore diet, which is basically a diet where you only eat meat. Now what I'm a fan of is how can I help you win? How can I help you put up points on the scoreboard every single day? How can I help you to victory? And the way that I've decided I can help you to victory is very simple. So I'm going to share a couple things that should be non-negotiables for you. And when I say they should be non-negotiables for you, I don't want you to feel pressure that you have to do them all the time. These are things I would love to see you work your way into over a period of time because they've been helpful for me and they've been very helpful to the people that I love the most, the people that are closest to me. And I feel that these are going to be of great benefit to you. And I'm going to start with addition rather than subtraction. That's the way Mark Smelly Bell likes to roll. I also, before moving forward, I'd like to explain the fact that I think that I can talk to and communicate with people that are heavier, maybe a little bit better than most, because I've been there myself. I've been a big guy before. I was 330 pounds. My entire family has a lot more body fat on them than they would like. So for us, the Bell family, it's easy to slap on them pounds, and because of that, I feel that I'm blessed to be able to share that perspective with you guys, whereas somebody else who has been thinner their whole lives, they still understand nutrition really well, they still get it, they still understand it, but they may not be coming from the same spot that some of us are coming from. So anyway, moving forward, Let's figure out a bunch of additions, a bunch of things we can add to your life. So let's add in some 10-minute walks. You saw me just walking. Walking is now ingrained into my life. It's part of my life. It's part of my day. Can you get in a couple 10-minute walks every day? Is it manageable? Is it reasonable? Maybe if you're not used to walking, then maybe you start out with 2 5-minute walks or 1 10-minute walk, wherever you can put it. Maybe your phone is a cue for you to go on a walk. I would love for you to do an uninterrupted walk where you're listening to music or maybe listening to a podcast. You're focusing in on yourself and how to improve yourself. But if you feel like you're a pretty busy person and you have to make a couple phone calls, then you can do so. You can make the phone call and walk at the same time. As long as you have decent reception, you're all set. Another thing I would like you to start to implement is to eat more fruit. If you don't currently eat much fruit at all, I'd love to see you eat some fruit. Now, some people are going to say, hey, wait a second, what about the sugar that's in fruit? Not a major concern. We're not worried about it too much. 2 or 3 servings of fruit per day is going to not only be very healthy, it's going to also provide you with a lot of fiber, which is going to be satiating and help fill you up. It's also going to help clean out the pipe, so to speak, right? I would love for you to get involved in eating some vegetables. Have your vegetables, but try to do so with moderate amounts of salad dressing, moderate amounts of butter or cheese or whatever it is that you're going to throw on there, because those things are also going to be dense in calories. Another place I'd love you to look into your diet is protein. Let's really try to jack up the amount of protein we eat. About 1 gram per pound of body weight or 1 gram per pound of lean muscle mass. May be hard for you to figure out your lean muscle mass amount, but just in general, if you weigh 200 pounds, I would love to see you eat 150 to 200 grams of protein every single day. Here's the reason why we want to do it. There's a mechanism called protein leveraging. All living things are in search of eating protein, and when we don't have protein, we continue to eat and eat and eat. How do you work your way out of it? Well, you're going to work your way out of it through addition and not through subtraction. When we do these additions, we have to have at least some warning towards, being cautious with your food and being cautious what you ingest. I would suggest to try to do your best with getting away from alcohol, moderate amounts of alcohol. Drinking once or twice a week is okay, but if you're struggling with your weight loss, it's going to be something that could be a hindrance. So I would suggest doing your best to try to reduce that. I don't really like to just completely take things away from people, because just like with a little kid, the second we take something away from somebody, they tend to cry about it or focus in and hone in on it, right? So I'd love to just say, look, do your best and try to keep that in some sort of moderation. We got one more thing to add to your life, and that's sleep. So if we don't sleep enough, you're going to really have a lot of stress in your life. Everything that you do during the day, or everything that you do period, is a stressor on your body. Whether you run or whether you walk or whether you communicate with people, everything is a stress. Some a little bit more positive, some a little bit more on the negative side, but everything we do is a stressor, and so we have to have good sleep hygiene. A minimum of 8 hours sleep is recommended. I know some people feel like they don't have time to sleep, but between Instagram and Facebook and TV, I think that's an extra full-time job for a lot of people. And if we're being honest with ourselves, when I say a lot of people, I'm including myself in that category, and you should be putting your hand up as well, because you're probably spending a minimum of 2 hours a day on social media. You're probably spending a minimum of 2 hours on TV every single day. You start to add that up for the week, and we end up with a lot of damn entertainment, a lot of damn TV watching. We could put that time towards something else. We could start to push back on some of that stuff, get a little extra time to sleep, a little extra time to prepare our meals. Lastly, with that protein leveraging that I was sharing with you, when you start to eat more protein, you'll be more filled up more often, and you won't be starving out of your mind, and you won't be thinking so much about food. Another great cheat code is to utilize some intermittent fasting. When I say some, I want you to be cautious, because if we overly fast, your body keeps score, your body keeps track, and your body says, damn it, I know you've been cheating me, you owe me. And then when your body owes you, that's when you fall off the rails on the weekend. I would love for you to take this seriously. I think some of the stuff that I outlined is simple enough. We need things that are simple, because if they're simple, they're going to be repeatable. If they're repeatable, they can become part of our habits. If they can become part of our habits, they can then become part of something that we consider non-negotiable. I can't be without that. I need to make sure I eat my fruit. I need to make sure I eat my vegetables. I need to make sure I get my protein. I need to make sure I get my walks in. In finishing up here, let's not forget about the benefits of lifting some weights. I know I'm going over a lot of things. When we build some muscle, we work on building some muscle, and when we lift some weights and do some resistance training, we're really building for our future. We're building a better body, a stronger body, and we're building up a body that now has a new cost requirement. So you're basically making an investment that later on down the road is going to consume more calories for you. So your body is working for you rather than you guys kind of working against each other. Rather than you trying to figure out, how do I burn these calories off every day? Your body, if it has an extra 5 pounds of muscle on it, is just burning it off anyway. It's going to require more calories. So building that muscle up is really important. Some simple strength training. It doesn't have to be difficult. I would suggest trying to work one body part 2 or 3 times a week would be sufficient enough to get you started and to get you rolling. Just like anything else, all this stuff has levels to it, and it will get easier as you go through it. So take your time with it. Don't be discouraged. If you miss a day, you miss 2 days, don't get discouraged by it. Just try to, how do I get back on track? How do I do some of what Mark talked about in that video? I think everything I laid out here is very reasonable and very simple, and because it's simple and reasonable, I think it's stuff that there's no reason on why you can't do it every single day. I want to see you start to put up points on the scoreboard every single day. I want to see your improvements. Let Jen know how you did. Let me know how you did in the comments off this video, because I would love to hear how you guys are doing with this style of workout. Give it a shot, or with this style of nutrition. Give it a shot for about 2 weeks. Let's see what kind of improvements you can get just from doing this, just from these simple add-ons. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you all later.